The last 3 or 4 years, I've basically spent isolated, trying to heal, doing shadow work, and that was my focus the entire time. And so I want to share with you some quote unquote cliff notes of what I learned from doing shadow work for 3 or 4 years intensely. That was my entire focus, my entire life. That's all I did. And I recently realized that despite all of this work, there are few key things that overlay each and every experience, each and every insight. And the funny thing is, healing never ends. I've been stuck in this trap of trying to heal, of trying to become better. And what I realized, the most important thing from all these years of doing shadow work is that entire life is just an experience, and it doesn't matter what kind of experience you choose to have. I've tried being a better person, I've tried healing my inner child, and of course there is a lot of beauty that came from that. But no matter which way you look at life, no matter if you follow teachers who tell you to take your life seriously, to pursue your goals, to be all serious, to like go go go, get, or if you follow these spiritual teachers who tell you to just relax, receive, let it all go, let it come to you, right? Whichever ones you choose to follow, they can be so contradictory, and yet at the same time they all point you to the very same thing, which is just that you are here to have an experience, whatever that experience is for you. I made this short recently which kind of inspired this video, in which I said, don't let your life live you. Live your life. And it was a quote from a song called Now or Never. And basically someone commented at saying, well, what if actually living your life is when you let your life live you, which just basically means you surrender, you go with the flow, you don't try to control life. And I just think that there is no right or wrong way. We can benefit by controlling life. We can benefit by empowering ourselves and going after what we want. We can also benefit by letting go and surrendering and just floating and going with the current of life. There's benefit in each, because each of these things is just an experience. And no matter how much shadow work you do, one funny thing I found is that healing never ends. And, I used to seek out these experiences and opportunities to heal. And I was like, how can I heal? How can I be better? How can I grow? And I would constantly try to put myself in these situations that would force me to grow, which were often uncomfortable. But what I realized recently is that most of the growth happens when you just live life. Living life, going after your goals, being present is in and of itself a sense of shadow work. It's a sense of healing. It's, I feel like I've experienced the most healing in the last, life also breaking me down to a million bajillion pieces. But also in the last 3 or 4 months, I did not seek out healing. I did not seek out nothing. I was just living my life, pursuing the things I want to pursue. And in that, I found so much healing and so much transformation. And I would say it was even deeper than all the years that I've actually tried to seek it out. And it's funny because we all change, people change. And another funny thing I found that I want to share with you, that it's about people. Sometimes we get so stuck, isolated, or trying to heal because of relationships. But one thing I learned about relationships is that people change, and people are in your life for a time period or for a reason. And once that reason is fulfilled, a relationship usually ends, either in a very messy way, or it just simply feels like you don't resonate with people anymore. And for me, this has happened so many times that now I have such a peaceful relationship with letting go of relationships, because I know how fast I grow, to the point where I can meet someone and we can get along, be good friends, and then, a few weeks later, I see them again and I feel like, wow, they resonate less. And by that point, I see them again in a month, I've outgrown 3 different versions of myself, and I'm not the same person I was before. And so all of a sudden, we don't resonate anymore. And so it's funny because sometimes we get so clinging to relationships, we have to make it work. It has to be right. I have to do it right. There's no right way to do anything. That's the most important thing that I learned, because, sometimes you can get so dragged with healing and answering all these questions and getting to the depths of yourself. And yes, there's beauty in that, and by all means go for it. It's beautiful. But also don't think that the other side of it, which is just living life, is not going to give you potentially even more opportunities to heal and grow, because it has for me. It's funny because I've basically decided that I don't want to heal anymore. I don't want to deal with having to, put myself to all this breath work and all this healing stuff that I was essentially seeking out for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's funny because when I did that, I was given even more initiations, even more opportunities to grow and to step into new versions of myself simply because life gave them to me. So everything is an opportunity to grow. Every person is your teacher, and every person is in your life for a time period or a reason. And so I really have this peaceful sense of like, if people come, if they go, I don't cling to it anymore because I've lost so many people. And I think at some point it's kind of like it wears you down to where at first you resist it, at first you fight it. But if you are in a phase of fighting it, I'm just here to share with you that there is no need to fight it, because sometimes what you want is not meant for you. And if it's not meant for you, it's because something else better is meant for you. And you won't know what that is until you let go and you make space for that next thing to come into your experience, you know? And it's funny because even with my YouTube, I have a back and forth because I don't really want to give advice because I don't believe in advice, right? I'm just sharing what my story is. I'm just sharing what's been helpful for me, because really there is no right way to do it. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Ultimately, find your own answers because no one else is going to give it to you. I've spent years chasing outside answers. I've spent years trying to find my purpose, trying to heal so that life would make sense, so that I would feel like there is a reason for me to exist. But I never found it. I would find it for a fleeting second, be like, oh yeah, this is my purpose. This is what I'm here for. And very soon it would be gone, and it would be replaced again by searching. What I realized and what I settled into is that there is nothing to search. Your purpose is just to be here, just to be present, just enjoy life. You know, just do your best, be present, and simply take each experience for what it is, because it's all temporary, and fundamentally, there's no meaning and purpose behind any of it. And it's okay to acknowledge that, and it's okay to see the beauty in that. And the beauty in that is that we don't have to cling to it. We don't have to make it so serious, and we don't have to live our lives thinking that we're going to make a mistake, or we're going to do this, or it's wrong, or like putting this pressure and tension on ourselves or on other people to have it all right, to have it all figured out, to have it all go your way, or to go the best way that it can be, because otherwise maybe you will fail, or you won't get to where you believe you're meant to be for your success, for your happiness, for your purpose, for the love of your life, or whatever that is you're pursuing. But it's like you cannot make a mistake. You're just going to learn, because it's just an experience. You're just here to learn. And I think if you can really sit with that and release this tension to have it all figured out, because there's literally nothing to figure out. There's nowhere to get to. I know the spiritual teachers say this, but it's so true. Not just the journey is a destination, but there is no destination. Literally, it does not exist, because wherever you think you're getting to, when you quote unquote arrive, what you arrive at is just the idea that you had of that place. And so often it doesn't really give you what you thought it was going to give you. And so you go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so you're on this constant pursuit and this constant chase of an idea that is never quite fulfilled because it doesn't exist. So the journey, quote unquote, that you're trying to get at is just literally present. It's just being in the moment and just understanding that that's all you ever have. So doing things for the end of itself, doing it because it's what you want to do. It's because it's what brings you happiness. It's because it's what brings you joy. Because ultimately, sometimes, you know, you might do all these things. You might work, you might heal. But at some point, you realize that even if you get what you wanted, and it doesn't give you what you want, you keep doing it again and you keep doing it again. And at some point, what happens is you reach a point where you realize that none of it matters. And you're left in this place of, okay, if none of it matters, now what? Now you get to simply be, simply enjoy the present moment and just experience, appreciate, and follow your joy, your happiness, your excitement, because ultimately that's all there is. And the funny thing is too that that's how you're actually meant to pursue life. That's how you're meant to arrive at your ultimate destination, is by following your joy, passion, and excitement. It's something that Bashar says, it's your compass, it's your map, it's your higher self's guide. And so these days, I've spent a large part of my life trying to pursue certain things, trying to succeed, trying to accomplish things. But these days, the way I look at life is I just want to experience and explore what life has in store for me. I want to see what life my soul chose for me. And I'm really just letting go of what that looks like externally. Because sometimes it doesn't look externally the way you think it needs to look, or the way that society tells you it's okay for things to look, right? Sometimes things are not going to make sense to your brain or to your ego, but I just think there's so much beauty in just allowing yourself to follow the path of your soul. And the way there is being honest with yourself. What does your gut say? What is your excitement? And that's really what I learned in all these years of doing shadow work, because I've been so focused on healing that I was essentially distracting myself from living life. And while, yes, I've healed a lot, I've grown a lot, I've learned a lot, it's a beautiful chapter of my life that I wouldn't take back. But at the same time, I do think that it's not necessary for you to go through all this struggle, all this essentially challenges that sometimes you put yourself through, if you can just learn that all there is to it, it's very simple. It's a lot simpler than we make it. It's just literally being present, following that excitement, understanding that nothing fundamentally has any meaning or purpose anyways. It really doesn't. Even if you think you want to make it have purpose, even if you think you want things to make sense, sure, you can use reason. Go ahead. If you want to use reason, if you want to use the logical mind to explain why you do certain things, or, sometimes it's funny because we have to explain it to other people. It's one thing I really don't like, by the way, because sometimes I have a feeling I want to do certain things, and then people start asking me, why? I'm like, I don't know why. It's because I feel this is what I want. That's it. It's like food. And you don't need to have a reason for doing something. Just do it because you want to. That's it. That's your reason. It's like eating food. Why do you want to eat certain foods for a while? It's just because that's what you want. That's what your body craves. It's the same thing with experiences, okay? We don't need reasons. I've spent also many years trying to figure out a reason, trying to justify why I want to do certain things, even sharing on YouTube. I've had many YouTube channels, and I've always had to justify it to myself. Why do I want to do this, right? Do I want to be a coach? I've tried being a coach, by the way. Not for me. I tried being a coach. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a coach. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll create this. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe it's because I want to make this my job. Maybe it's because I want to succeed. But you know what I realized? It's none of those things. For me, it's just because I like sharing, and I don't care about the rest. I really don't. In fact, I have really back and forth relationship with YouTube now, where I kind of don't want to do but I kind of really like talking to the camera and sharing videos. So we are where we are. But anyways, I just wanted to make this and share it because it's something that came to me. And if you are on this healing journey, I hope that it gave you some kind of insight, some kind of clarity, and hopefully some kind of release or relief from putting this pressure on yourself to get it all right, to heal, to be perfect, to make things have a purpose, to have the end goal. Because there is no end goal. There is no purpose. There is no perfection. There's no standard. There's nothing, okay? Literally, there's nothing. It's just your experience. That's literally all you have. All you have and all you are left with is how you feel. It's the experience you have and the journey along the way. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching and for being here and for following your own path. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one.